Welcome back, Rare Talks. You already know where it is. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't, make sure you go over to the Spotify and check out the exclusive episodes that we got on the Spotify. And today I'm joined by a special guest.
Zubayd Al-Arabiya. Welcome back, guys.
And we're going to be talking on a wild topic today. First of all, disclaimer. All ideas expressed in here is from me, not from anyone else. So we're talking about the battle of the sexes. The truth is, there's not a battle. That's why I hate that word. Men are taking back control that they lost. This is what's happening right now. But because women are not so masculine in their energies, they don't actually understand what's actually happening. So today we're going to be discussing the battle of the sexes. I call it the battle of the trenches because this is a trench battle right now. Trust me. But yeah, so that's what we're going to be discussing today. If I'm honest, what I've seen on social media and in real life is that women have lost themselves completely. We don't have women anymore. We have artificial intelligence nowadays. So we have a bunch of bots that have become women. Women have become bots online. That's why women are so disgraceful and so disrespectful online. There's nobody more disrespectful than women online. And the reason why that has happened is because women have actually lost the way of how to be traditional with men. So there's not a battle between sexes, just that men have rose up. And the way men have rose up is because there's been positive influences out there for men to actually look up to. One of those influences was Kevin Samuels. Now, people can have their reservations or whatever they want to say about him, but that guy actually proved to us there was a problem inside of our communities. All of us. And he pointed out a flaw that was going on. Some of these women be having unrealistic expectations, but we just never saw it on a greater scale where we could say, she got 4 baby dads by 4 different men and she wants a high value. Baby girl, sit down. We never saw this kind of disgraceful behavior before until he started to speak about it. Then we have people such as the notorious Andrew Tate. And I say notorious because they've put him in a notorious light. I love him. I think he's a top guy. But they put him in another light similar to that. So every time men have like positive influences of masculinity and how to roll as a man, they always have to take that person out. I believe that Kevin Samuels was assassinated. I actually found out what they assassinated him with. The FBI made this thing when they could stop your heartbeat. I was watching some show about it and it can mess with your heart and stuff like that. He beat cancer but died getting pum pum. That just doesn't make sense to me. But it is what it is.
Right. So what I believe is that there is no smoke without fire. Yes, some women of the 21st century have completely gone wild, but people forget to address why. Women throughout history have naturally been submissive because that's been a part of human nature. If we go back to early civilization, the men naturally led, the women naturally follow. So this is what happens when you deviate from what is natural. But at the same time, if the woman is supposed to follow, and the one that she's following is not leading correctly, then this is the outcome of that. So as much as women are not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the 21st century, neither are men. And it's a two-way street because, like I said, one second, throughout history...
It's not.
Okay, let me explain that.
No, but it's not though. If women become aggressive and...
Why?
But I'm saying they become aggressive in their nature, that makes men...
It's not natural for women to be aggressive.
No, but I'm saying... They start to make it seem as if their nature of being aggressive, being disrespectful, being shaming tactics, and all of these tactics are being deployed to try and belittle and berate men, then all that does is turn into the worst type of villains you'll ever get.
Okay, but again, why? Why are women becoming aggressive, masculine? Again, no smoke without fire. These women are clearly frustrated. They're clearly angry about something. And this is where we have to go to the source of that problem. There are some women who are just naturally bitter. We agree with that. There are some evil, nasty women, no matter what you do for her, bend over backwards, provide, she's still going to treat you like crap because she's just a nasty person. But I'm saying there are actual women who have valid arguments as to why they feel the way they feel, because some of these men have mistreated them. Some of these men haven't lived up to what they're supposed to be doing in terms of providing, in terms of security, in terms of love, in terms of respect. So we can't sit here and gaslight women and act like they're just behaving a certain way because they just want to behave this way. So this is why I say throughout history, Men have been the leaders, women have followed. It's like, for instance, the best example that I can use for this is an army or a workplace, right? In an army, you have the general, then you have the soldiers. If the army does not perform well, whose fault is it? Is it the soldiers or is it the general?
Everybody's fault.
No, it's the generals. Even throughout history, every time our army has failed, the blame has gone onto the general because he's supposed to be the leader, right? It's the same thing within the workplace. Let's say you go to a workplace and the workers are not performing well. Who gets the pressure? Is it the workers or is it the manager? It's the team leader. It's the manager. They're going to say, hold on, you're the manager. You're the one who's supposed to be leading this group. They're failing, so the onus is now on you. And it's the same thing between a man and woman structure. He is the leader. The woman's criteria is not to lead, is to follow. If the leader is not leading properly, then of course things are going to go left.
But how can a leader lead if the woman doesn't let him lead? So let's just put this into context. The women are not giving men the ability to lead. So if you don't give me the ability to become a leader and all you're complaining is that I'm not the best of leaders, tell me in history a leader, yeah, except for the Prophet ﷺ, you can't really compare him because he was the best of mankind. But I'm saying, tell me a leader in history that's led his army and led his cavalry in perfect order.
There's been many battles.
No, I said led in perfect order.
It's
now
not been
understand,
perfect.
thank you very much. So what we're seeing nowadays is unrealistic expectations from the woman. You want me to be the leader, but then you want to run up your mouth and tell me all of this and all of that. Doesn't even make sense. And you want me to be the leader, but at the same time of being the leader, you're berating my efforts. You're not even appreciating me. You're saying, oh, you bought me this bag, the Gucci bag, but I wanted the Birkin.
Yeah, but that's not what a leader is, though. See, this is where we have to define what we expect of a leader, right?
No. But I'm saying, if we're talking about leader of a household, of a family, that could be put in any context. It doesn't have to be put in a special bracket of context. A man who leads his family is a man who takes care of his responsibilities.
Okay.
What women think is that they can tell men what a man is. That is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And that's the reason why men will rise up and say, bruv, just like a boy, when he's in his household with his mother at a certain age can't tell him nothing because he understands what's going on. He understands mum's pain. He understands everything.
But what I'm saying to you is that there are certain default positions that should be taken from the man and the woman. What I mean by that is there are certain things that don't even have to be said, like you said, like taking care of the family, providing, respect. But even these things are missing.
No, it's not.
Absolutely.
No, the thing is, men don't want to take care of women that they believe that are out there for the streets.
So
bro,
why are they done with them?
I'm not taking care of a woman that I don't know 100% that she's down riding with me to the end.
Okay,
and
why
that's
do
the honest.
these men have kids with these women though? Why do these men
Because
lay down
accidents
with these women?
happen and
accidents.
people accidents, yeah.
Yeah, no. See, that's the problem. There's too many accidents, and when
What
we
are you talking about?
listen, when we
Accidents on both sides.
When we make accidents too much, and then we can't sit there and complain, and then go back to say, "Well, it was an accident." Well, you need to stop making accidents. You need to stop making mistakes.
As a man, regardless if your child is born in the maddest way, it's still your child. Yeah, cool, no problem. The fault here is more onus of the woman than the man, because there's 21 methods of contraception for a woman, but there's only one contraception for a man.
Yeah, that's just whataboutism. That's not taking any accountability, and this is the problem.
That's the fact.
Let me explain something.
That is a fact. What I just said. You couldn't count what I just said.
No, because it's an excuse.
It's not an excuse.
Even though
you have 21 ways of contraception, so how are you getting pregnant?
So why is it so? What, you can't have contraception either?
That's what I'm saying, but it's only one contraception for me.
No, because again, it doesn't matter. The consent is from both sides. You both decide to make that decision. Whether I got 21 options of contraception, whether you got one, we both decide to lay down.
So then that means more onus on you because you're carrying the baby for 9 months.
It's not onus on me.
We talk about man can. That's why man are smashing and dashing.
It takes two to tango.
No, but what I'm trying to say, I'm not saying the man don't take care of his responsibilities. No, I'm saying that you as a woman need to protect yourself, and women are not protecting themselves.
I agree, but men also need to do the same thing as well.
No, but a man can just duck out. You can't duck out from you.
Yeah, so then don't complain when men are getting violated and women are frustrated, because when you have that sort of mindset where, you know what, I don't need to take no responsibility, I'm going to leave you with the burden of carrying a child, and then duck out, and then folks are confused. I said a man can.
I said a man can. I didn't say
it's not men can, men do.
No, but I'm saying
many men do.
Stop. Because many women stop men from seeing their children. This is a rabbit hole that we can go down right now. There's a rabbit hole we can go down right now. the point factor here is that you can't sit here and say that men are not leading when women are not giving men the chance to lead. And the reason why women ain't giving men the chance to lead anymore is because women have been comfortable in thinking that they're as masculine as men. That's why women say, I'm in my masculine energy. Whenever I hear a woman say, I'm very masculine, yeah, I always think it's cap. You know why I think it's cap? Because you can't be masculine. It's not in your nature. You can't get in an argument with someone and the first thing you're thinking, I'm going to thump off his face. You don't think like that. And if you did, as a woman, then you'd be thumping up bare your friends because you'd be like, but you're moving mad, dumb in the face.
No, the thing is,
you haven't got that same energy. Women say masculine energy is like, I work. That's not masculine energy. That's just being a human being, bro. Like, you think I'm going to say to my daughter, because you got a job, you're a masculine woman. That doesn't even make sense. What women class as masculine is just being a human, taking care of yourself. That's humans. What does that mean? You take care of yourself when you work. How does that make you masculine? You're a human being. It
makes me masculine, but a lot of red pill people would say that's quite masculine.
No, but you as a woman, I've seen you here with Abby, and you said that's what makes you masculine. I've had to go into my masculine energy because I had to work and take care of myself. And what makes when a woman says I'm in my masculine energy? What does that mean?
Okay, so like you say, for a woman to deviate from her femininity and delve into masculinity, a part of masculinity is aggression. Yeah, it's defensiveness.
That's not true.
It is. Men are very aggressive.
No,
they're more aggressive than women. Absolutely.
All right, cool.
Okay, so for me now to have to be aggressive, that means that I am now in danger, because the only time where you have to be aggressive is where you feel threatened or you feel like you're in danger. And unfortunately, because women are more vulnerable compared to men, we are in a lot of danger. Not saying more than men, but there are certain situations as a woman that make us in danger. And sometimes for other women who have been put in very dangerous situations where they have been violated, their natural response is now to be aggressive to protect them from that potential danger. It's almost like a lioness. If you see a lioness, when she sees that someone's trying to attack her cubs, she's going to get aggressive out of protection so that whatever it is that's trying to attack her, she wards it off. So we become aggressive in a way to let whoever it is know that I'm not going to be taken a mick out of. I'm not going to be violated because I've been there and done that. And unfortunately, it's almost similar to a trauma response. And it is. Because if you made me feel safe, most women, when they feel safe, they're feminine. They can relax. They can be comfortable. Even for men, if you're in a certain situation where you feel like this situation is off key, I'm not really feeling the vibe, I'm not feeling the men around here, you're going to start getting aggressive. You're going to start getting aggy. And it's the same thing with women. Certain people, specifically men, they make them feel aggy. So she feels that she has to be...
Make her feel aggy how?
By the way that he speaks, his demeanour. You know, again, somebody's...
Why are you watching a man's demeanour? Just be a woman around him. Of course
what?
Why do you have to watch a man's demeanour?
You should, absolutely. As a young woman, if you were around a man, you should watch his demeanour.
No, I'm saying,
to protect yourself.
No, but I'm saying you're out doing your life. You're living your movie. Why are you watching men and their demeanour if you're out just living your life?
Because unfortunately, some men have very weird intentions. Like I said, I can never understand how it feels to be a man, but I can tell you how it is to be a woman. I can tell you from the age of 12 years old, just going to school, men are there looking at me, winking, whistling. So naturally, throughout my experiences, I have to be careful of who I'm around, because certain men move very, very weird, especially when you're around a man by yourself. Like, many women have been essayed and approached in the workplace where they think that the man that's around them has good intentions. He takes you into a room, sits there, pretends to speak to you nicely. Next thing you know, he's touching your thigh. He's trying to... And it's these sort of experiences. Again, as a young woman, victim mentality. This is where I say that the battle of the sexes is happening. Most women victimize themselves because it's easy for a woman to victimize herself in victimhood. Victimhood has become part of a quilt of no accountability. So you know what? I'm gonna dress like a whore, but then when men move to me, you know what? It's their fault for looking at me. No.
So it's victimhood, and that's what a lot of women have fell into nowadays. I should be able to dress how I want and do whatever I like, and it's 100% correct. It does have truth to it, but there's also falsehood to it, and I'm gonna tell you why. If I go out dressed like a cop, yeah, and people are like, look at that Fed. No, I'm not really a Fed. I'm just dressed like one. They're gonna be like, no, you're a Fed. So if you dress from what I think in my head, what a loose woman looks like, and you expect me not to chat to you, then it's all on your fault. So okay. I'm saying, if there's a cure to everything, I genuinely believe there's a cure to everything except death. There's a cure for everything. And if you're saying as a woman that you're not feeling safe, you're not feeling this, then you need to create boundaries between you and people. A lot of women don't create boundaries, then fall into certain mistakes. They go out drinking with their work colleagues and start saying weird stuff. And then before you know it, my man's trying to ting his lips in her. She's like, oh, I didn't really want that. So why did you put yourself out in this environment? Why have you always flirting with me? Why are you always sending me these emails? So women will do this. They will act in a flirtatious way, and then when it comes to the act, oh no, I don't want to do it, and then now it looks like he's a predator, but you was edging him on.
No, he is a predator,
Victimhood.
and she's a prey. This the environment.
No,
don't
say that.
Is the prey and the predator.
No, that's not true.
At the end of the day,
you don't have to be a predator to get women.
But there are certain men who are definitely looking to pounce, and when men can smell vulnerability, when they see that woman,
so can women.
Okay, so it's two sides. That's what I'm showing you. But with women, again, it's her chastity, it's her body, it's everything. Because women are more sensitive, they're more emotional. This is why you have a lot of damaged women out here who have been taken advantage of. We cannot deny this. A lot of men out here are predatory when they can smell vulnerability and they use it to their own advantage, because both men and women have become products of their society. I agree with you. Women that are out here dressing loose, it doesn't justify them being disrespected or essayed or any of that stuff. But at the same time, if you are carrying yourself in a certain way where you're clearly looking for attention because you're trying to draw attention to yourself, you're going to get the wrong type of attention. That's just a given. But the point is, we cannot take away from the fact that women are more emotionally inclined. They're more vulnerable in terms of especially things like SA and being raped on the streets, and that's a very traumatic thing to go through. And so these women,
victimhood again.
It's not victimhood. You're bringing, it's a reality.
No,
it's a reality.
No, but again, what most women go to is the most extreme examples to make points of victimhood, instead of actually sticking to the point that, look, men are leaders. Why are women not letting men lead? Now, we can go down the rabbit hole.
It's not women not letting men lead. It's the government not letting men lead. And
but the women playing a role in it, because feminism and where it came from originally wasn't even established for the facts of what women actually think it is. It was for women to pay taxes because somebody in the bank.
That's not the only thing that
feminism... But it was for women to pay taxes, yeah, and there was a smart man. You don't even understand. All women that are feminists are being controlled by men. So the same women saying that we want free rights from men, the same men are funding them projects for you. This is what men don't actually understand. The whole world is created by men. If there was no man, there'd be no woman. If we really want to go that far, if we want to go back to...
I think that's BS. I think...
We're talking about... Allah made Adam, alayhi wasallam, first.
He made Eve for him.
Yeah, so he took her from the rib and said, here's your wife.
Yeah, because he was lonely.
Stop. So, yeah,
he needed comfort.
Yeah, so, yeah.
He made Hawa for him.
Yeah.
So he needed her.
Yeah. No. Stop. Hold on.
So why was Hawa created?
Stop. Let me put this out there to you. She was made for one purpose and one purpose only, for him.
Okay, because he needed her. He was in need of her.
But I wasn't created for her.
Of course, because this is why you were created in pairs.
That's why men can last better by themselves than women can. Women are finding it very difficult to be by themselves. And you see them lonely women when they're with their cats and they're depressed. And they're on TikTok live, shouting all night. They're lonely women. I've seen these lonely women. I've seen lonely ass women online.
No, like women.
And it's funny to me. It's funny. I find it hilarious.
Women can stay by themselves for a very long time. This is why you got a lot of single mothers out here. When it comes to a lot of these men, right, especially when it comes to sexual urges, this is why, unfortunately, the highest rate of SA come from men, because men cannot sustain themselves by themselves. This is why they go out here. They go out on the prowl. They go out here searching for girl. Man will be out here working just to impress girls. Man will be out here flexing for girls.
And girls do the same thing.
No, so we don't have to work twice as hard, to be honest with you.
No, but you don't. But women still do little things like, for instance, post pictures on Instagram or post pictures online. So if you're posting pictures online of yourself, you are potentially putting yourself out there that I'm single, ready to mingle.
Okay, but
I call it fishing. So men go out there and men are looking. We're swimming. Women are fishing. Yeah, and fishing, to me, when you're fishing, you try to catch something in the fish. So I'm out here with my rod. Yeah, with my rod, and I'm looking for things to catch. And then there's a fish right there. Raw, look at that fish. And I throw my rod in. That's not predatory. That's called opportunist. There's a lot of men that are opportunists because men are not initiators of sex, meaning that we can't go to a woman and be like, yeah, give me the pussy. Because if you try to force yourself, it's called, obviously. So I have to find an opportunity to make you feel like you like me or something like that, to try and get you. That's why men that have high body counts and have lots of women are respected in society, because people are like, rah, he has all these women, right? He must have something special about him. When it shouldn't be that way, but that's how it looks. But a woman that has many men, we're thinking this is natural. You should have many men that are onto you and that want to sleep with you, because the market for you is more easier than the market is for me.
Yeah.
in high sense, I mean, how many men would come to you? If you put up a post right now and said, I'm single, it's hard like this, I promise you, by the end of the day, you have 50. If I put that up, all right, maybe not me, because obviously I'm an influencer, whatever, blah blah, crap. But I'm saying, just to a normal Harry that plays computer all day in his room, he puts it up. Ain't nobody even saw it. Couple girls that went to school with him. Lonely old man. This incel. But he bashes all day. Look at him. Weirdo. He's in his. He doesn't ever take no pictures. He doesn't look fly, because women only want men that are desirable to other women in their eyes. Women create these monsters that they hate, you know. Women create monsters that they hate.
I just feel like we're speaking about this from a very generic perspective, on a very mainstream perspective, and even though it's called mainstream, it's very not. Like, I'm being honest with you, like, for me personally, I'm not, this expectation, this high value man in terms of he's got so many women, I find him desirable. I'm sorry, that's not what I'm looking for, to be honest.
Every woman wants a man that other women desire.
Not really. I'll be honest with you. Like, for me, maybe I'm a different thinker, but if I know that you're desirable, that means you're easily accessible.
Doesn't mean you're easily accessible.
That means you're
Desirable means, this is what desirable means. Desirable means in a woman's eyes is that many women want you, but you don't want none of them. You hold
boring
value.
I ain't got time for that. I ain't got time to compete for no man. I ain't got time to fight other women and be the one that you eventually claim in the end. I ain't got time for that. Like, this competition and this chasing men, and so that you can come out the winner, just so you can say, I won, he chose me. I don't know who you're trying to impress. Like, for me, this is what I'm saying. This is a Hollywood version of how a relationship should be, and this is why many people fail, because everything is based on competition. Everything is based on looking good in front of everybody. Like, this is somebody that I want to be my companion to the day that I die. This is somebody that I want to have children with. This is somebody that I want to live with and spend most of my days with, where I can be vulnerable with. Why do I have to sit here and choose you based on your desirability? Because that's not the criteria that I'm looking for. If that's the only criteria, I want somebody because he's desirable and other women want him so that I can be claimed, you lot are lost. I'll be honest with you. That's a waste of my time. And a lot of women do not think like that. A lot of women want peace. They want a source of protection, a source of security, a source of love. Like, and this is the problem why I find a lot of relationships fail, because everything is being publicized. Like, for you to be so desired by many women, that means you must be out there. Now, why do I want my man to be out there and being constantly desired by other women? Would you want your wife to be out there and desired by other men? No.
But let's just pull it out there. For women and men, I told you, you can't. You're trying to. Do you see the equal thing when you do that? Yeah, it never works, and the reason why is because equality doesn't exist. Equality.
You didn't answer my question.
I'm answering your question, but I'm gonna catch you on that point that you just made. You just made the point, yeah. Oh, maybe your woman's out there, but women are more precious and more. So women are.
So men aren't precious.
No. Let me just break this down to you. Women have things about them that make them sexy. Yeah, women can have nice eyes, nice eyelashes, makeup. They have curves. They have nice lips. All of this stuff is a makeup of what makes a woman beautiful. As for a man, his desirability to a woman is not in his actual physical makeup. That's why you see girls with these guys that are all out of shape, big belly, rude boy blood, because he has other things about him that the woman likes, and which is not physical. Women don't like men based on looks. Men like women based on looks. That's why, listen closely to this word. I'm gonna put this out there. Men, they see a woman and they become desired. She becomes desirable to them, because men love what they see. Women love what they hear. That's why women get told lies and men see truth.
Yeah, I mean, again, maybe I'm just different.
It was at this moment
I'll be honest with you.
He fucked up.
Okay. I'll be honest with you. With me, I just think I'm a different type of thinker. Like, I see things more like logical and rational. I don't base things off of materialism or based off exterior, and I'm not trying to say that as if I'm some.
But that's a lie though, because I'm pretty sure I've heard you say in one of your lives, I want a man that has money so he can take care of me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then that is materialism.
No, that's not materialism, because
So what is that then?
I don't want a man to be rich. There's a difference. I want somebody.
But him in this country to take care of you and take care of himself, he has to be kind of up in this day and age that we're living in this crisis that we're living in right now.
So I further expanded on that, and I based it on necessity. So a roof over our head. Is that asking for too much? If you want to marry me, then I'm expecting to be secured. So I'm not asking for a
What about you live with
bedroom
his family? What's wrong with that?
Well, then we have to talk about that, because at the end of the day, would you want your daughter or anybody to, when she first gets married, to be in with the family? No.
Why not?
I want private space.
Straight Asian things.
Big up to the Asians, but respectfully, like,
What, they think they're not getting money for that?
no, but the point is, I've just married you. I want to be with you and to have
Got a bedroom. What's wrong?
with the in-laws. You don't know how it is with the in-laws and the mother-in-law and this one and that one, all up in the way. A lot of women have suffered. You know the terrible stories.
Tell us the stories. Tell us the stories.
Like women just like the mother-in-law walking in, for instance, when they're having their intimate moments. You know,
You're meant to be patterning that way. It's not like that. Man, hold the door or something. What are you lot talking about?
The auntie might have dementia. You get what I'm saying? Like, no, I'm being serious. No, but I'm being serious. Like, a lot of these elderly, you know, they got dementia, they got other illnesses, they don't know what's going on. They like this is why I respect the Asian community, because they stick with their elderly. Like, generally most Muslims, they won't put them in a care home. But at the same time, these elderlies come with their conditions. They're very heavily reliant on their children. So then there's barely any time for me as the wife. So respectfully, like, that wouldn't be an ideal situation. I'm not saying it's wrong.
For some people, it might not be, but I'm just saying there is an option always there. And I believe if a relationship is meant to take the right turn, then it's meant to be two people cooperating upon goodness. Yeah, and the first goodness that I see in a relationship is two people having an understanding that's more than money. So even if the woman's living somewhere else and he's living somewhere else, they've got an understanding of what's going on and they've got a plan on what they want to do with a relationship.
Okay, let me just explain something to you about money.
You said, and I'm quoting you. You said you want a man that has money so that he can take care of you. That's what you said out of your mouth.
Let me explain
That's
that.
what you said.
Yeah, I did say that. So let's switch money for. So money is a form of currency, right? So right now we have paper money, but let's go back thousands of years ago. It would have been something else, and that something else and the money that we have today all mean the same thing, and it is security, right? So it's not necessarily that I'm care about the money. I'm asking for the security. How do I get security? Well, that's money is the means for security this day and age. So let me just expand. So I'm not asking for £1 million. You have to be rich. I'm asking for security. And how do we get security? Through money. Like, because at the end of the day,
that's not true.
A lot of women will sacrifice themselves in the name of love, being with a guy because he might, you know, give them good intimacy and he might make them feel good. But on the outskirts, they are suffering. They cannot pay their bills. They're out there struggling, which he might end up doing something illegal in order to make ends meet. She's sat there paying out of her wages just to make sure it's a horrible situation to be in. I'm not asking you to be a millionaire, but again, a fundamental thing of a man is to be a provider. Like, this is just part of a man's nature to provide. Again, I always have to refer back to history, because that's when things were done naturally. During the hunter-gatherer time, when you have the cavemen or the men in the jungle, they would leave the woman at home with the kids and they would go out and they would go and hunt all day. They would spend all day hunting with their spears, and they will come back and they will bring the fruits of their labor and they will give. Yeah, and this is what should be done in the modern times. It is a part of a man's nature to provide. And I actually heard something, and I'll ask you this. They say that men naturally like to provide. They get some sort of adrenaline knowing that when they've been out working all day, that they can put something on the table and they can see everybody reap the effects of their labor. So even men get enjoyment out of this thing. But of course, if he's doing it for the right woman. So it's not even a burden on a man, because men naturally enjoy it. It ups their testosterone level.
As a Muslim man, if you believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and you believe in the last day, then giving to your family is a sadaqah. And obviously, if you're doing sins, you want to do sadaqah. And the best sadaqah, as the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, is the best sadaqah is to your family. So your family is, in Islam, your wife. That's the closest person to a man in this world. And we know that from all the stories of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and how close he was with his wives. He used to get wahi, he used to get revelation when he was with his wives. That's what he used to get, because that was the closest moment. He didn't get it when he was with the man then. You'd get it when he was with his wife. So going back to men loving to provide, men do love to provide. But the problem is, men have been simping for a couple years now, and men are finally woken up that I'm broke. And I even go back to my own life. I only can look from my own life. Whenever I had lots of money, I had lots of females around me, yeah? And not even that I'm even sleeping with them, but it's just that because I look like the provider, I look like food. Now, you have to understand, when you've been hurt many times and women have used you for your assets that you have to start being a little bit wary of who you let into your space and who you bring around you, that they don't take them and resources and abuse it. So you're taking all of my resources, I'm giving you everything, but at the same time, you're going to hurry down the road, or you're talking to my man, or you're telling everyone that I'm not doing anything for you. Yeah. So now I don't even feel like I'm even providing, because every time I give you something, you tell me it's not enough. So now I'm feeling like, what's the point of me providing? So a lot of men have got to this mindset where it's like, you know what? I've done so good for so much women and they've dealt with me wrong.
Men are being finessed badly.
Yeah. So now I'm just gonna finesse them. I'm gonna be the evil companion now, and I'm gonna show the world that I wasn't a good guy and that you shouldn't have treated me like this. And it's sad. It is actually sad, but it's an actual reality. And I think until we as humans, and I say humans because it's not just a male or female thing. If I'm down bad, I expect you to help me out. If I say, look, I own a studio base, but I have no money, yeah? Can you lend me a bills or 2 bills? Yeah? I don't expect you to say, oh, you're that provider. What? You can't even take care of yourself. Because then that just shows me you don't love me. And then now I'm going to feel a way to even ask a woman ever again in my life. Yeah. So a relationship in this day and age is give and take. It's not take. And if I meet a woman and all she wants to do is take, but she don't want to put in no work to get this money, yeah? She just wants to take all my money. She don't want to put in no work. She wants to be a full-time housewife. For some men, that might be the way, but for some men, it might be like, I need a woman that is putting in a shift so that we can work together towards goals. You know what I'm saying? And that's not putting her in masculine energy. That's just us coexisting so that we can live kind of decent. I don't understand where this mindsets come now, where opportunities have arose for women in so many different fields. Women can work from their houses. A woman can become a trader, just be in her house, still be a full-time mother and make grands, bro. There's so many different ways of making income, but you're sitting there and relying all on me, and then now the burden's hard on me and I'm pressured, and you're not even giving me the basic necessities of respect.
Right.
You're telling all your family members, oh, you didn't even go shopping and do this. Like, you're making me feel like nothing. So if you do that to a man, then how can he lead when you're destroying his leadership? It's like being in an army and there's one rebel there in the army talking about, yeah, I'm gonna rebel against my man. I'm not gonna be real. You have to rub him out, because he's gonna infect that whole team. And that's what happens if you see it more times.
I think, I'll be honest, it's all based on me, my needs, what I want, and I'm not willing to compromise, sacrifice, or cooperate. So, like, in terms of men, their selfish thing is based on their desires. I want to take what I can out of this woman to fulfill my desires. And in terms of women being selfish, I want to use this man as much as I can for my own desires. So I feel like the reason why from what I see, analysing a lot of these frustrations and why, like, modern women, modern men are clashing is because of selfishness. People are being so selfish. They're not willing to say, you know what, like, even generally, like, why I believe society is messed up is that we never take into consideration how the other person's feeling, because I feel like we've almost been forced to be selfish because of the current environment and climate that we're in, like, to the point where it can get that bad. Like, even if your mom's asking you for peas and you're like, I ain't even got that because you're so down. Like, and that's how bad it is, because this society, especially with the cost of living crisis, people have been forced to only think for themselves, right? And we do live in a very individualistic society where everything is based on the individual and their needs. There's no sense of community, right? There's no sense of caring for each other. I believe it is a moral obligation to care for other people. But again, we don't have that mindset. So now let's put this way of thinking into a relationship. Like, women, like, they don't date to get married. They date for convenience. How much can I get out of this person? It's almost like a business investment. Let me invest my body, right? Let me invest whatever into this in hopes of what. That's how a lot of women view the relationship. How much can I get out of this relationship without having to give too much? It's like investing. Let me put a bill down in hopes I get £1,000 back. So yeah, I'm putting a little something in, but I'm expecting something more back. And that's not how it should be. And I put this down to selfishness. The same thing with the man. I don't care how she feels. I want to get what I want out of her. I don't care if, she gets pregnant. I don't care if, I end up wasting 5 years of her life. Like, it's all based on selfishness. No one actually thinks, I care about this person. I want to see this person do good. Like, I actually want to make you feel happy. Many people don't think like that. That's secondary when it comes to these things.
I'll be honest with you. Selfishness would be one thing, and I'll say stinginess is another thing. You see, when I learned this in life, I learned to do good to people, not because you're gonna reward me and what I can get from you, but I know what I'm gonna get from my Lord. So there's an ayah in the Quran that it's always been in my heart since I memorized it. It says, "Innama nutimakum liwajhi la nuridu minkum jazaa'an wala shukura." And it means I only feed you and give you sustenance only for the face of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I don't want no thanks or no reward from you. Everything that I'm doing and I've done in my life, I feel like if you make your intention for something greater than you, then you doing it for someone is not out of what I can get from you. It's not a mutual exchange, because relationships now have become mutual exchanges. Like I'm gonna give you money and you're gonna give me this. So I wouldn't say prostitution because we're in a relationship. It's different, isn't it? But it is seen as a transaction.
Exactly.
Now, if everything becomes a transaction, then nothing is sincere.
Right.
And when sincerity is gone from a relationship, the relationship really doesn't have anything, doesn't have a foundation anymore. All it's got is people that are coexisting rather than actually living. And I feel like when you're in a relationship with somebody and they think that, yeah, what can I get from you? What can I get from you? What can I get from you? Rather than what I'm doing for you now, my Lord's going to reward me one day. And they will see the fruits of their labor through their life, how they feel content and they don't feel depression, and how they feel happiness when doing good deeds. You know, one of the good best things that I could get from my heart from doing good to people is knowing that I always feel better after I do good to people. Whether it's small or whether it's big, I feel better inside of myself. But if you're not making your intentions for something greater than yourself, then you will always feel that same way. You always feel like you're hard done by somebody. Yeah, you took my money, you never loved me, you done this 4 years, 5 years. Bro, if I spent 3-4 years with you and I done so many things with you and you left me, I'm happy for you. I wish you nothing but greatness and success, and I hope that these things that I've done helped you to become a better person or whatever. I don't even look at it as even a negative thing. Like, but at the same time, I won't put myself in a situation where I'm loving someone that doesn't appreciate my efforts. And one of the most precious things you could ever give to any woman that a lot of women don't even see as a blessing is a man giving you his time. A man gives you his time, he's giving you a part of his life that you'll never ever be able to get back. And it's vice versa for the woman. But I feel like for a man, women don't actually value that. Like, I'm actually spending time with this man and he's teaching me or he's helping me. People look at providing, and you said a statement before, and I want to just go back to it. You said a statement of security is having money and taking care of someone. I don't think security is that. I think security is a man being able to spiritually guide you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I think that's the best kind of sustenance a man can feed you with, because if I'm honest with you, we can be poor together, you know. We could be in a 1-bedroom poor squat, but you see, if we know our purpose in life and we're focusing on that, bro, it's as if we're the richest people in the smallest room. It's like we're reading books and we're like, bro, look at this. Let's go act upon it now. We got like £2 to our name and we're going to give charity, but we're both laughing about, yeah, we're going to get bear reward. Did you see how much that was?
Of course.
So this is what I'm trying to say. The mindset of how people think is the reason why they're actually poor. It's not actually poverty in actual world. No one in this country is actually poor. We might be in a crisis, but we're not actually poor, you know. Like, we got gas, we got electric, we know we can go to someone's house and get food. Like, in some countries, it's mad. I've been there, I've seen it. The woman said her husband died and she was crying, she was depressed. He had one pot on fire. I'm looking at the woman thinking, like, rah, and she's like, I can't even send my daughter to school because it costs £40 to send her to school. £40 for one trimester, and she didn't have her £40. Me and you are thinking, this is crazy, £40 for a trimester in school. Imagine someone said that to you. Wouldn't you pay that for someone if you heard that? A little girl needed that. It's nothing, is it? £40. But in them countries, that's what real poverty is. My daughter can't even go to school and I've got a one pot and my husband's dead and no provisions coming for me. But the real thing, like I said, is security is not always looked at is monetary, like what I can get from you financially. It's sometimes security is you make me feel good. Every woman has a different niche to what makes her feel good. She could have daddy issues. She just wants a man to just be there and coexist with her, to love her. Because even though some people have their parents, he's not there. Psychologically, Don's not there. He loves her, but he's just not there. So she's looking for that little gap, that little void. She's looking for it in that man.
I think for me, a lot of women have been put in survival mode. Like, for me, I speak from my own experiences. Like, I know struggle. I've been there, done that. And so, and it's a very drainful, stressful thing. And because my mindset wasn't correct, the way that you explained it, to just leave it to Allah, my mindset was not like that. Like, my mindset was very, very flawed. It caused me to add pressure to myself and add pressure to those around me, and eventually everything just went left. So I understand how that environment could be. So it's like almost offering me choices. Do you want to live a life of struggle or a life of contentment? Logical things is I want the life of contentment. So if I have options in front of me where, okay, I've got a brother here who works, who's stable, compared to a brother who just shots, who am I choosing? I'm choosing the one that is a bit stable.
The halal over the haram, but yes.
But what I'm saying to you is, if, let's say, the circumstances change now, that's different. But I'm not going to intentionally walk into a bad situation. So that's why I say the criteria should be at least he works. So at least I know I'm going into something stable.
He could be working, be broke though.
But these are the questions that have to be had. It's like.
You mean questions? You're gonna ask me about my financial situation? You think you're gonna?
Of course.
You think a woman's gonna come to me that I don't know, yeah, and she's gonna be like, "What's your bank balance like?" And I'm like,
no, I'm not asking for your bank balance. But if I'm looking to get married to somebody, do you work? Okay. How many hours do you work?
You know what I find funny?
These are logical things.
Do you know what I found funny? Yeah, a woman did do this though once. Yeah, she said, she asked the man like, "What's your job, bro? Like, what do you do?" And he's like, "Oh, I'm assistant manager of Big Yellow." So she went online and she said, "Assistant manager, Big Yellow salary." And she saw his salary and she calculated how much money she'd be getting monthly. Then she broke down how much money she will need from him. And then she's like, "I can't marry you because I probably will be only getting 300 to 400 pounds a month." I was like, "Rah, 300, 400 pounds a month is still good money from someone giving to you." See, what I've realized is that as humans, we naturally, we want to take. We love this hand. This hand's always the hand that we love. But this hand's actually the best hand to get. This hand's the better hand than this hand. Because this hand, it takes. But you know what I've realized? When you take too much from people, they start to hate you eventually. But one person that you'll keep asking him and he'll never hate you is your Lord. And that's why I said, a woman that understands her true purpose and her true essence in this world, poverty doesn't even exist to her. She sees everything as a challenge and how she can become better through this situation.
No. Look, women are not built like men. We're not built to struggle and suffer and be out here in the wild trying to eat. Again, even the Quran says men are protectors and maintainers.
Yes.
Let me explain something.
You're right. You're 100% right.
It's not our job to be out here struggling.
No, do you know? You're 100% right. I agree with you. You're not meant to be out here struggling, but struggle is subjective to the mind, because you could be struggling with depression. I can't see that. I can't see if you're depressed. I can't see that you're struggling right now. To me, you're in a functioning state, but you could be suffering mentally. But I would never know. Struggling is subjective to every individual that's going through it, because my suffering is different to your suffering and my struggle is different to your struggle. My struggle might be just saying that I need to keep my place afloat. Your struggle might be like, I need to eat food. There's different struggles.
Exactly. But what I'm saying is, in terms of women having to strive and constantly provide and put something down on the table, there's never really been our role. Only in the 21st century, again, because of this capitalistic, consumerist environment, it is hard out here. I live by myself. I work 12-hour shifts day in, day out, and it is not enough.
So let me just put it out there. You want a husband that basically provides for you and makes sure you don't have to go to work anymore?
No, because first of all, I like what I do. I work as a healthcare assistant. I like my job. I get great joy out of my job. This is actually a job where women are needed in terms of nursing, in terms of healthcare. So I feel like I'm doing a job that puts something into the community and is a form of sadaqah as far as I'm concerned, because I'm helping sick people, right? But at the same time, it would be good to have a partner, somebody who can support me and I can support him, like, together. Because at the end of and it's not necessarily about the financial thing, it's again about what you say, security, not just physical financial security, mental security as well. So and I'm a young 25-year-old woman, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, I think I'm deserving of a husband. Do you understand? Not just for financial reasons, but for many reasons. I want to have more children, you know, I want to have a companion. But again, I'm not going to choose somebody who is not living a correct lifestyle. That's not wrong for me to say. It's the same way that men have preferences. Men could say, I want a 20-year-old. Am I going to say to him, but what about the 50-year-olds? How come you can't? I find it strange when women say, I want a working man, but why don't you get with a broke guy? But then why don't you get with the 50-year-old widow? Why don't you get with the 35-year-old woman with 2 kids? Like, And I don't think my preference for wanting a working man, not a rich man, not a millionaire, wanting a working man is not reasonable.
You said you wanted a man who had money. I don't know where that came into working, but I remember a man who wants money, who's got money.
Yes, and a man who's working.
And I don't see anything wrong with you having that reservation, because the Prophet ﷺ said you can marry for 4 reasons. You can marry for wealth, you can marry for lineage, you can marry for beauty, and you can marry for deen. But marry for deen and you'll be successful. So,
but I think if a man is on deen, he'll be working.
No, because not all the time. Sometimes you don't know his situation. He might be looking after his parents. We generally don't know his situation. He might be a full-time looking after his children.
But I notice a lot of brothers who are on deen proper, mashallah, they're working. They're out there on the front line.
I don't know who's fully on deen because I don't know people's true hal.
Well,
but from what's apparent, you mean? From what's apparent. Because the brothers that are really on deen are not even being seen. They're just doing their thing. You don't know who they are. But anyway,
let me just give you an example. Yeah, the reason why I say this, just for the audience, right? So for those who don't know, like, I'm Arab. Yeah, so I come from. My father's Iraqi, my mother's Algerian. I think, and a lot of Arab girls can possibly relate to this, right? And I'm not saying because we're better than anybody, but generally speaking, the men within our culture are very hard workers.
You're closer to a Sally than anything. But my point of, look, without throwing derogatory terms around, because I don't want the conversation to become low vibrational, is that there is a problem in both sexes, yeah? Because I don't want to get too diverted from the actual conversation here. I always go left of every conversation. It never goes right. Because I like going left, but I like getting back right. So back to the case in point at point. There is not a battle between sexes. There is men regaining their strength. No. And I feel like...
No.
Did you say?
You're minimizing the issue to men's struggle when it is also women who are frustrated, who are tired.
But women have had rights and had movements based on them. So hold on.
The feminist movement is only 100 years old.
Yeah, but it's been
a new thing.
But it's been... The feminist movement is the creation of the LGBTQ community.
LGBTQ came after feminism.
No, it's not. It's hand in hand, because women will claim, because I'm a woman that likes other women. You lot have never liked me, and I'm part of this movement. You will never find a woman that is L, yeah, because it starts with L. Listen to the word it starts with. It starts with L. What is L?
LGBTQ.
Yeah, what does the L stand for?
Lesbian.
Okay, the L's at the start. Why wasn't it at the end?
Right.
Because those are the people that started this movement, bro. Okay, come on, man. Everyone, go and do your research, man.
I know the research. Can I explain something? So feminism was originally, yes, I agree with you, created for white women's struggle. It was only later that a lot of African women, Asian women, Middle Eastern women started...
Last 10 years, bro.
Started jumping on it for their own reasons. White women jumped on it for capitalistic reasons, for they wanted to vote, they wanted to work. But that struggle was different to the struggle that Asian women were going through, that Middle Eastern women were going through. As you clearly highlighted, beating on your wife, unfortunately, is something that's very common in the Middle Eastern world. And that's why you will find certain because every woman's struggle is different. The white woman's struggle or the European woman's struggle is different. For instance, in certain parts of Africa, FGM, these ain't suffering with that. I support the sisters who are campaigning against FGM. Women in Asia, honor killings. These things are all real things. So when people sit here and gaslight us and think, oh, you're just jumping on it because it's only because of capitalism and Rockefeller wanted you guys to work to get more taxes. No, some women culturally were going through hellfire, forced marriages. I've seen some terrible stories of 9-year-old girls because of poverty, nothing to do with Islam, because of poverty, sell their daughters to 6-year-old men just to get some money to feed for themselves. And that young girl now is trapped in a horrendous marriage and can't do anything about it. Honor killings. There's been multiple cases where women have been killed in the name of Islam and they've been deemed to be innocent. There was a case where 3 Afghan girls and an Afghani guy, they were in a room, and all you could see in the footage is the girl sitting there, they were clapping and the guy was clapping. They all got licked off. That was equivalent to zina under the Taliban. Adultery, and they all were stoned to death. Now, we know how to establish zina. 4 witnesses have to witness the act of penetration. These girls were just sitting there in a video clapping, but that was enough for them to get stoned to death. You understand? Women who have been through domestic violence in Egypt, not long ago in Egypt. There were 2 cases, one in Egypt, one in Jordan. Because some of these guys, especially Arab men, the way that they obsessed and they lust over women is a different type of sickness. There was a case in Egypt where a young girl who was a uni student, had a whole life ahead of her. A guy was constantly berating her and she rejected him for marriage. What did he do? He followed her back from uni in broad daylight, and he went up to her and he stabbed her and he sliced her neck in front of everybody just because she rejected him. And the same thing happened in Jordan. A young girl who was a uni grad, she rejected a guy for marriage, shot her and shot himself. Adi, no problem. She doesn't want me, well, no one can. You know that saying, if I can't have you, no one can have you. These are real struggles that women are going through around the world. I agree with you guys when it comes to women here in the West. You lot ain't going through half of what the people are going through in Africa, in Asia, in the Middle East. Real traumatic things that these women are going through, getting beaten down, and nobody cares. These women are crying themselves to sleep. Their whole existence is to please their husband. And even in certain Arab culture, pleasing the wife is unheard of. What? Please my wife? What? That's unheard of. The whole sole purpose is to lay down, take it. Once he's satisfied, everyone's satisfied. Her mental, physical, emotional well-being is irrelevant.
So you're saying that's where feminism came from, other ethnicities.
Yes.
You're saying, okay, no problem.
That's why they jumped on the feminist bandwagon.
Cool, I agree with you, but I'm only speaking from my people. We've never, as black men, ever had the power to oppress our women. This is what people don't actually understand. Feminism for us was actually a myth that was sold to us so that it can destroy the household. Because once you can destroy the household, you can keep the people controlled. Once you keep the people controlled, you keep them in something called materialism, which most of us are involved in, or love. We lust over materialism rather than actually trying to build in capitalism. So the feminist movement for us personally as black people, it's never had any relevance to us because we've never had that full control. They've always tried to infiltrate us. And I give you the first way they done it. When men were the providers back in the 60s and 70s, men were staying in relationships. Do you know why? Because of their financial situation. But soon in the 70s, they realized, let's start giving women all the jobs and not giving men the jobs. Men started to turn to crime and to being in bookies. This is where the origin of black men in bookies came from. It came from, I don't feel like I can get any money. They're not giving me no jobs, but they employ my woman. Instantly they'll employ her and they'll give her a high paying job. Now, what does that do to the household? When a woman gets power, she becomes tyrannical. Women are not made to be in power. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not saying some women are not good leaders of being in a certain environment, but if you ever see a woman that is a good leader, she has to be ruthless and evil. Just like, I don't even know that guy in North Korea, I think, or North Korea.
Kim Jong-un.
His sister, do you know who his sister is? Lol. Research who his sister is. But when you see this woman, she's the real, I don't even know, they got some name for her, bro. Like, anyone that plays with her, you're gone.
So let me ask you this, since you wanted to ask questions about my culture. So let me flip it on you. So you say that feminism in the black community only started after women started jumping on it because of jobs being offered to women. So then I'm going to repeat what you said about single parent households being very high in the black community. Whose fault is that?
So the government's made a plan and an agenda.
The government, yeah?
No, I'm giving you an expression. You asked me a question. Right, you want me to answer it? Do you want me to answer the question? Mm-hmm. Do you want me to answer the question for you? So, in the black community, there was an agenda. See, and even to this day, there's still a sort of agenda. And I don't like to go too deep into politics, but let me just give you an example of this. If a woman goes to the council and says she's single, she'll get more money than if she says she's in a relationship. That puts pressure on the man. So more time, a man will say, I'm not in a relationship with her, which is kind of an embarrassment because she's always popping up with children, but there's no father, especially if it's in the Muslim community. It looks disgraceful. So they've got the women used to being single mothers by default. Now, when you can program someone that I will take your benefits if you're a single mother. Now, this household is paid on housing benefit and child support and all of these benefits that they're getting, and they're saying we'll shut all of these down. That means we'll shut down all your revenue. Now my man's living a good life because he's working and he's having more money and she's got money, so it's like the relationship is coexisting. It's like she's kind of not working, but she's got some sort of income coming in and he's got an income coming in. So what they did was they made the government become the new fathers of the households, and without the women even seeing, we was duped. So the government is the reason why a lot of the black community, we was duped. So
there's no responsibility on black men who lay down with women, have kids, and just F off and never see them again.
That's a minority.
Okay, well, I don't know the statistics of that, but
when you want to destroy a people, you destroy the women first. So if you're saying that the men are ducking out, what's the reason for them to duck out? You see, whenever we speak for women stopping men from seeing their children, the first question that women say to other women or say to men is, why would she do that? There must be a reason, yeah? But there's never a reason why a man can't ever be there for his child, as if like the women can't be narcissistic, sadistic,
there's a lot of men who just don't
sociopaths,
care.
and psychopaths. So this woman is made up false allegations on me. Why would I even want to see my child now? Because maybe if I take my child, she's gonna say that I done something weird to my child. I don't want to go to jail for no weird cases, because you got in jail for them things there, your life's at risk even 10 times more. And I'm gonna be on.
I think it's just more easier for men to walk out, because the responsibility, again, to be a father is a huge responsibility.
But do you know there's actually more in this country? Maybe it's because we're in the UK, but there's actually more white men that abandon children in this country than there is actually black men. Statistics are not actually correct. You see, we play into stereotypes that we know that have been programmed into us by society. So society has its own stereotypes of what people are. So if you see an Arab woman, she's oppressed. Yeah. If you see a black girl with a baby alone, she's a single mother. There's stereotypes that we project on each other out of prejudice and discrimination that has been going on for years. For instance, I'll give you another one. The police see a black youth in a Nike fleece trackie with a long jacket on. He must have a Nike. Let me just jump over. Now, I'm not saying it's wrong for the police to do their job, because the police are doing their job, and we have to be aware that the police are doing their job, and I hope that they do a good job and stop the criminals that have knives that are stabbing up these little youths. Because these knives they're carrying, if they push it through someone, he's instantly gone. There's not even a chance of living. But my thing is, stereotypes doesn't make reality. It just makes us prejudiced. That's what it makes us. And a lot of us are actually prejudiced to one another. That's why you would come up with that very loose statement of what you just said. But it's all good, because it's been happening for years.
Says the one who said a lot of Arabs beat their wives and Arabs are racist. So again, you've actually proven yourself wrong, to be honest with you.
No, I haven't.
You have, because you're the one who first made a prejudiced statement, and I
didn't make a prejudiced statement. I just thought, because you was saying all of that, I said, but what else?
It's like, imagine you started praising black people, and I said, yeah, but black people are criminals. I literally said Arab men are good at providing.
So you're gonna duck the reason that you're gonna say to me right now that women in your community from Arab cultures, which you just said a second ago, it's well known that they go through a lot of domestic violence.
Yeah, but again, it's a stigma within our community, and it's not like the general norm, but it's something that happens.
Yeah, so there was no lies to what I said.
Yeah, but me asking you a question, actually repeating a statement that you said about the stereotype of single parent households within the black community, I just asked you it to actually hear what you thought about that.
Yeah, so the government, I just gave you the explanation.
Well, if it's the government...
And it's, you know what, if you really want me to go further than that, it actually came from the Jim Crow laws. The Jim Crow laws, one of the things that he said inside of his laws, people only read like half of Jim Crow laws was to destroy the family household. That's why they would make some black men go to different plantations and sleep with different women and then leave them women. So he's the cream of the crop, this man, yeah? He's like the strongest man. So genetically, if he has children with this woman, he's going to have a strong child that's going to be a strong slave. They was looking at it from such a, like, if I breed the strongest cow with this cow, it's going to make a strong cow so that I get strong cows. That's how they was looking at it. So it's been happening from the Jim Crow laws. This is where it actually originated from. He wanted to destroy the stimulus of the household, of the family unit. Because when you destroy the family, the one thing that we had as black people, even when they came to slaves to different places, was that they had family. So if this is my wife, you know, have you seen Emancipation from Will Smith? He done everything to get back to see his children. He done anything that he had to do. He went through all kinds of stuff, slept in trees, done all kinds of madness to see his children, because black men have always religiously loved their children. It's always been a thing about it. We love seeing our children. We love being watched. But society has made it seem, by stereotyping us and being prejudiced against us, and in our own people living up to stereotypes and becoming what we protest against, is because of the hate that we've been given forever. And that's why Tupac said, "Thug life." Thug life. Do you know what thug life means? The hate you gave little infants forever. What does that actually mean? Did you actually go into deep to understand that? The Black Panthers was one of the only first parties in the whole of America that was actually trying to uplift the black community. They destroyed that from within, put crack into the community. Crack destroyed us.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but for me, I look at it from if people like yourself can understand the disease, then why is there no cure?
It was at this moment that he knew he fucked up.
Like, I think to sit here and clearly highlight the problems without coming with the cure, I think that's part of the problem, because I think That's a victim mindset. What you're doing
You-
there.
you- you-
One
you-
second. What you're
You
doing
asked
there,
me a question. I answered it. How's that? I
What,
gave you an explanation. I didn't mean I didn't give a solution. You didn't ask me for a
You
solution.
didn't come from a solution.
But you
'cause
didn't ask me for a
everything-
solution.
All your answers was, it's the government, it's the government, it's the government. And for me, like, I hate these answers because it's the same thing that we could say about the Muslim community. It's the government, it's the Americans, it's the British that did it to us, it's the Zionists that are doing it to us. But nobody comes here, looks within and reflects on the part that they had to play in the mess. And if nobody can take accountability or responsibility to the problems, then we're just going to continue to be victims. It's the government that are doing this to us. It's the white man that's doing this to us. It's the whatever. For me, I'm past that. I used to have that mindset, but now I'm past that mindset. I understand who the enemy is, but the enemy is not always on the outside. It's also on the inside as well. And until we get the enemy on the inside, then the enemy on the outside is done for. And I feel like this is why we're in a lot of problems, because nobody highlights the enemy within.
Facts. And you know what? I applaud you on what you just said. The enemy is within, and the enemy comes from mindsets of being poisoned for years, full of indoctrination of hate towards oneself. And one of the ways they do that, if I'm being 100% honest with you, is, they create self-hate. Self-hate is, first of all, I hate the skin color that I have. So instead of me being this dark skin, let me be a little bit more lighter, because that will make me more attractive. That's an indoctrination, but that's also in your culture as well. If you catch a dark-skinned Arab girl, most men are like, oh, she's not unattractive. It's probably mixed with something. I don't want to have children with her because my children might come out black. I want my children to come out looking like me, Arab. Which they think that Arab is actually white when it's not, if you really want them to go deep. The original Arabs actually came from south of Yemen.
Yeah, Arabs is not a race, by the way. Arabs is a group of people. So there's... Arabs don't all
But
look
it's
the same.
described as a race. So
The term Arab comes from Hebrew, which means desert dwellers.
No, but what I'm trying to say to you is everything nowadays has a terminology that we use right now. We're not talking about the etymology of words. We're just talking about how words are used now, loosely. Because if we go into the etymology of everything has a base.
Yeah, but the thing is that a lot of people say North Africans are Arabs. They're not. Even Palestinians are technically not Arabs. Yeah, Sham, the people of Sham, they're technically not Arabs. If you really want Arab, it's the Gulf states and, like you say, Yemen. Those are the pure thoroughbred
South
Arabs.
of Yemen.
South of Yemen. But even Iraqis, technically, Iraqis are Babylonians. They have their own ethnic makeup. They've just been Arabized culturally.
I would say Iraqis are more to do with Khorasan and Persians, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, Mesopotamia, Babylon,
I'm just that's
the first civilization on earth, big up to the Iraqi people.
I'm going to say Persians, if I'm being honest, because the Persian Empire was a very, very big empire, and it was...
they were the Sumerians. The Sumerians are different to the Persians.
No, the Sumerians, stop trying that, because the Persian, obviously the word Persian, the Sumerians is what they was before, but if you want to, again, in the modern day wave, to make people understand, I would call them Persians. It's like you're going back. You're going back on words. It's like for instance, I'll give you an example of the Yemenish people are who? The Jews. But they weren't always Jews.
What do you mean do you mean the Yemenite Jews?
Hold up. Before Jews, what were they? What were they called?
Before Jews, what were they called?
Yeah.
They were Beni Israel from different tribes.
But I'm saying the word Jew word Jew is not even it's a new word.
Yeah. Yeah, it comes from the tribe of Judah. So he had 12 sons, right? They all broke away, and one of their sons was called Judah. This is how you have the term Jew from Judah. This is how the term Jewish comes from. Other than that, they were Beni Israel.
The Israelites.
Yeah, exactly. But the
Israelites and Israelites are originally from where?
I don't know.
Africa. Are you right?
Africa? The Israelites are from Africa. So wait, hold on. You're telling me that which part of Africa are they from? Then go on, because this Hebrew Israelite argument for me is like very cringe.
All right, one sec. Let me just break this down to you. See Egypt back in the day.
Yeah.
How is Egypt the same as it was today, or was it before?
They say it's kind of still the same ethnically. Yeah.
No.
This whole thing that all Egyptians were black is a myth. It's a lie. There was black Egyptians, but even they weren't necessarily Egyptians.
There's no such thing as black. Let's
They
stop
were
using
Nubians.
this.
So this whole argument that
They were brown skins. Yeah, they were the people of melanin. Yeah, let's not go too far because you will just get finished.
there was white Egyptians.
There's
there
no
was
such
Egyptians
thing as
that
white
looked-
Egyptians.
Of course there was.
Show me a picture.
Of course.
Go on, Google. Go on. Google. Oh. Yeah. No.
I know a lot of you guys are jealous, definitely, because
Jealous? What am I jealous
We're-
of? You're bringing...
you guys are trying to claim
Google. Look at you Googling.
claim North African history. Look at the hieroglyphics. They've got white people and brown people.
Where's the white person?
Look at this lady here at the end.
Who's... What? Are you alright? What lady at the end?
The one at the end on the left. That looks yellow.
She's a brown-skinned woman.
Oh my God.
There's light brown,
she's
bro.
yellow. That lady
Oh,
is
stop
yellow.
it. So let me put this out. Let me put this out there to you. If a North African woman and a Jamaican man had a child together, what color would the child come out?
But look, mixed race. Like,
But do you believe me that they could be on the lighter spectrum depending on my genetics?
yeah, possibly.
So I know a man that's got a daughter right now and the daughter looks white, but he's black. He knows it's his daughter, 100%.
Yeah.
It's with an Arab woman. So what are you talking about?
The point is, what I'm saying is, I don't know how we even got to this topic. I'm like confused right now.
The point, case in point here, because we're gonna end on this, yeah, is because I could be here all day destroying you. But
Yeah.
the case in point is that stereotypes and prejudice have been around from the beginning of time. Nobody in this whole world can say they're not prejudiced towards another person because everyone's got a prejudice. It's about when you speak that prejudice and act upon that prejudice where it actually becomes a problem. Because in my mind, I'm prejudiced against certain things and certain people. I'm not going to sit here and lie. I'm prejudiced against certain things. To say that you're not prejudiced against anything would be a lie. You're prejudiced against guys that don't have jobs to think that they can come and marry you. You're prejudiced against that.
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah.
Doesn't make you a bad person, does it?
No.
Thank you, because we're allowed to have our prejudices. But the prejudices are problems when you start to look down on people and start using that as a measuring stick of disgracing people and attacking them. And that's what's been happening a lot in the Arab countries. That's not been reported.
There we go. We'll have this conversation next time, guys. If you really want to hear me and Red go back and forth about the Arabs and his anti-Arab sentiments, then
Astaghfirullah, don't say that. Because listen.
Then we can definitely go
I don't
into
have no anti-Arab sentiments, but what I do have is truth.